Welcome to the Cornbread and Kool-Aid podcast. My name is Demetrius. Thank you for listening, watching, checking us out later on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, however you consume the podcast. We appreciate it. Shout always to the super producer extraordinaire, Mr. Mike Ward. Um, this is getting fun. I think that the podcast this is year five. It's obviously the best year. The Lions sit 5-1 after a 20-6 win today in Tampa. If you're watching or listening, I appreciate it, whether you're a family member or not. Thumbs up, likes, retweets, all that stuff's appreciated. Or if you just want to chill and listen and drop stuff in the comments. I missed my man James last week. Hey, if you guys, I have no problem jumping down a rabbit hole. If you drop something in the comments and it makes sense, I'll talk about it if I don't already intend to talk about it. But we're going to keep it pretty straightforward today. I'm just going to jump into the game, sort of the flow of the game, the ebb and the flow of the game. So one of the things that we're going to talk about, then I'm going to talk about some players because I keep forgetting that this team has a different star like every week. This is not a team that beats you well, to a degree. Somebody else steps up. And there's guys who are playing really good football. There are guys who are playing really good football who don't, in my opinion, get the mentions, get the likes, get the tweets, get the publicity that they deserve for a 5-1 football team that honestly still flying under the radar. Thanks to my man, Mr. Fisher, Cincinnati Bengal fan. You guys are back on track. We'll talk soon. Right? Um, this team has a lot of ways to beat you. They have a lot of players, and they just keep doing little things that add up. And I have gone throughout the organization. I constantly talk about show some love to Sheila, right? And Lions fans inherently will never do that. Her maiden name is Ford. I will keep trumpeting Sheila, right? I believe a culture is what we're talking about. I think if you like the team, cool. I think you should like the organization. But I did that last week. So I'm going to jump into the game, talk about the game. Then I'm going to talk about some of the players who I think both deserve more and for us individually just appreciate what they're doing. And then we're gonna take three Twitter questions. Hopefully we don't get any nonsense this week because at 5-1, why should we? But fans never let me down. So the final is 20-6. The one thing that's happening is I don't want to use the word boring, right? But I know if you're with me, let me know. It feels boring. They just manhandle people. We've seen 4 weeks of them just another group of professional NFL players, really talented people, really good at their jobs, and we watch the Lions just kind of impose their will and manhandle people. And there is a degree of this team that fully represents Detroit, fully represents the way we would want to do it. That's my favorite part of all this. If we had some high flying offense that just outscored everybody, that would be cool. I'd like it. And we might actually have that, by the way. It would be cool. I would like it, but it wouldn't feel right. Right? People like me from Flint or from Detroit, Southeast Michigan, hell, all over Michigan, this team is like as representative of the city and the people as any team I've ever seen. Probably back to like the going to work Pistons, the '04 Pistons. Whole teams to 75 points a game. I love that team, right? The Bad Boys, same thing. But as a Lions team, they had a team in '95 that could score. But this team can beat you in a lot of ways. Sometimes they'll put up 200 like they did a couple weeks ago in rushing yards, right? Sometimes they'll drop a 40 burger on you like they did last week to Carolina. Sometimes they'll win on defense, like today, where you don't score a touchdown. Good luck. Good luck in an NFL game winning against a good football team if you don't get in the end zone. And today was just that. They made plays on defense when they needed to. They did not commit a lot of bad penalties. They didn't sack Baker, but if you watch that game, you could see that they were disruptive. Now, my contention is Tampa schemed that. Tampa Tampa schemed quick passes, a lot of Baker moving around, and Baker was running for his life. I think they only got to him once. I think Julian got it, but they find different ways. Sometimes it's rushing the ball, sometimes it's putting up big numbers. But you know what always happens? Jared Goff always happens. I'm tired of being the only one who's like, "Hey, look at this guy." I'll keep doing it because that's how I am. Amon-Ra St. Brown always happens. I just don't get. I don't know that they are stoppable. I think if Ben Johnson wanted St. Brown to catch 12 balls every week, like he did this week, he could. They could ski because you can't really stop him. His route running is too good, and he doesn't drop the ball. Right? Um, Golf just quietly excels. Right? I don't think Golf is good. I don't think he's pretty good. Jared Goff's one of the five best quarterbacks in this league right now. You can argue with me if you want, but I got the podcast, so I'll just drop stats on you. So I mean, 30 of 44 for 353 and two touchdowns doesn't look like a big deal. But when you watch it, he doesn't throw the prettiest ball. And we get caught up in all the nonsense. 12 years of watching number nine, you see these lasers and these. Jared Goff just gets it done. He just gets it done every single week. I mean, we can ignore the fact that they're 13 and 3 in their last 16 games. You can ignore that but where I'm from, what I do for a living, that's called a data set. That's how you make decisions. You make decisions on data sets. And going 13 and 3 in 16 games is not easy to do, right? It's just not. So they make you earn everything you do, and then their quarterback and their receiver and hell, the offensive line and the running backs and the defensive line, the linebackers and the secondary all they play this complementary style of football that I don't think will care about the weather. I don't think it'll care about the opponent. I don't think it'll care about who's injured. Today they go into the game without Gibbs, Jonah Jackson, the starting left guards out. We know Brian Branch has been out a while. Gardner Johnson, Houston, they're missing guys. So the people in San Francisco, I don't want to hear about McCaffrey and Debo. I don't want to hear it. Sorry, everybody is playing without people. When you go in and they've gone to Kansas City, Green Bay, and now Tampa, and won games, didn't lose. If you watch the Kansas City game, that wasn't a gift. They earned that, right? So what you're seeing now, and I titled this particular podcast this week, the Lions are a real problem, right? I'm trying to be nice. What I wanted to say, and hell, Mike, it's my podcast. The Lions are a fucking problem for everybody. And if you don't think so, okay. I don't even want them to know. I want people to be quiet. I don't want them to talk about them. Fine, fine. That's great. They're just going to keep going out there and punching people in the face and just beating teams. It doesn't matter where they play. It doesn't matter what time the league flexes the game to. None of it matters. And every week, the next game becomes huge. But they're up for it every time. When they were going to Kansas City, everybody, oh, it's a big game. They're going to Kansas City to show well. You don't got to win. They just went and won. And then they played their worst game of the year and still went to overtime and lost to Seattle. And people like, yeah, okay. Right. Now you just got to go handle your business. Atlanta, nice to see you. Take your ass home. Oh, you got to go to Lambeau. Now you got to go to Lambeau and get that win at Lambeau. Historically, you don't win at Lambeau. And Jordan Love might be good. Guy on the radio was like, Jordan Love might be a great quarterback. The Packers might have done it again. And they generated all this fake bullshit angst about the Packers. And the Lions went in, and I believe the term my mother would use is stomped a mud hole in the Packers, right? Okay, cool. Wow. All right, the Lions. Carolina comes in. They're winless. The Lions should blow them out. Oh yeah, okay, cool. We did. We did. We dropped a 42 burger on them. Now this week it's like, Baker's playing really well, and Tampa's 3-1, and they're at the top of the South Division. That's going to be a tough road game. And one idiot, I won't call him idiot. Let me stop. One guy on the sports radio show suggested Tampa's breaking out the creamsicle uniforms. So look out. So look out. They're wearing throwback unis. The suggestion being that the color of the shirt somehow makes them more talented, makes them play better. It's absurd, but I get what they do. So I don't want to call the guy an idiot. I get what he was trying to do. He's trying to find any reason to create angst. So you'll call the radio show. Fact is, the Lions were better than Tampa on paper. Fact is, the Lions were better than Tampa on the field. Yeah, I'm pointing at my big ass TV where I watch the game. So, so yeah, they're better than Tampa, and they're better than most teams. Now, this one coming up is big. We'll talk about it later. But early on, as you're watching the game, you feel these moments as a Lions fan. And early on, I didn't see the aggression. I wanted to see them take some shots, right? In the first half, I was antsy for one reason. I thought I want to see JMO impact the game. JMO's out there. We know he's got a unique skill set that nobody on the field has. Do something with JMO so he impacts it. And we didn't get that in the first half. And that was difficult for me because Tampa's first four possessions were punt, interception, punt, punt. And the Lions only led 3-0. Old SOL guy was firing up the grill, assuming the Lions were going to find some way to lose this game. And he was writing the script for his phone call tomorrow to the radio station. Yeah, that's not how it works anymore, right? Even if they look a little flat, oh, guess what? Maybe today we'll just win on defense. Then Montgomery goes down and they can't run the ball. I think they only had like 40 yards rushing for the day. And you think, okay, now they're screwed. Oh, wait. Jared Goff's still the quarterback. They still got St. Brown. And wait, JMO is on the field. How about that? So how about Craig Reynolds in that block? We're going to see that 100 times. I believe the four letter has a segment called Pancakes. I'm guessing that's going to be on there. But as we get to the third quarter, they come out flat and it's still a thing. And so I'm trying to find reasons to worry because even me, the biggest cornbread Kool-Aid eater drinker in the world, every week I want them to keep proving themselves to me. And I'm going to make a big deal about next week's game because I just need them to keep doing it. There'll come a point where I'll just say to hell with it. We're one of the best teams in the league. Let's rock. I'm closer than most people. I'm closer than Kenny. I'm closer than my brother, that's for sure. I think he's in. I think both Kenny and Bear and my friend Art, I think they're all kind of in now. But I'm closer than most people. It's not always pretty to watch. And when they're up just like 10-6 in the third quarter and you're thinking, I feel like this game should be this lead should be bigger. I feel like, and then you see like a holding penalty on St. Brown, and you crap. And then Goff just drops back, hits Khalif Raymond for like 15. That penalty didn't hurt at all. SOL guy was jotting down notes about that penalty and how it screwed him, right? And then all of a sudden, Jameson Williams is in the end zone running on a great adjustment, and making that catch. Next thing I know, it's 26. We're in the fourth quarter, and Tampa goes 3 and out, and I'm like, this game's over. We're gonna kill 5 minutes off the clock, and this game's actually kind of over. And so I would never say bored, right? When you get another two-touchdown win, another double-digit win on the road against supposedly a good team. And that's where I am. That's where we should all be. When the Lions go do this, the narrative on national television for sure is going to be to diminish Tampa. Maybe they're not that good. Maybe Baker's not that good. That's going to be the narrative. Um, that's just not the case. The case is actually the Lions are actually that good. They're just, and they're not even healthy. So you know when they make smart plays, I'm watching to see how they're playing. And there was a subtle little play on that drive that I call the dagger drive when the Lions they didn't score, but they knocked. I think they were up 20-6 with I don't know 10, 11 minutes, and they had this long drive where they ate up 6, 7 minutes. Right, that is what good teams do. And it was a subtle little play. Craig Reynolds runs on the outside. He could have ran out of bounds, and he didn't. He dived and stayed in bounds. That's like smart football play. And I'm watching these games looking for smart football plays. I see where Goff goes with the ball. I saw a play where he dropped back with every intention of going deep, probably to JMO, but it wasn't there. And he just went underneath to it might have been Reynolds, it might have been Laporta. Smart football plays. That's what good teams do. They make smart football plays over and over and over. And that's what our football team's doing. They're putting together a series of smart football plays. They're not beating themselves. They force you to beat them, and they're going to make it tough every single play. And it didn't look like we had a good pass rush today. It didn't look like we were, but I will say this to you. Tampa didn't score a touchdown. That's really hard to do. They were doing something right. If it didn't look good, okay, I'm fine with that. But if you can hold a team to 2 field goals in an NFL game at their place, you're gonna win a lot of those games. You're gonna win a lot of those games. And that's where we are. We're at a point where I'm looking at the schedule and I'm struggling to find losses. And that's arrogant, right? For a Lions fan, do I think they're gonna go 16-1? I mean, no, I don't. I don't. But I look at the schedule and I don't know what now. Sunday could be a loss. A win Sunday would be huge, but it could, in theory, be a loss. And I think that one of the things they have to guard against, and I think I said it last week, the Lions' biggest opponent right now is the Detroit Lions. It's complacency. It is Eric, but this team, the culture of this organization, this head coach, I don't feel like that's something we should worry that much about. They're there. If they play to their level, if they play close to their level, they can beat anybody. And we've never been able to say that. And by the way, they're not fully healthy. They haven't had their full complement of players since week 1. Now you can say that about every team in the league. That speaks to Brad Holmes. Them coming out, especially if they go win in Baltimore next week, and then they get 2 weeks to sort of revel in that shit. And then they come home Monday night 6-1, and the Raiders are coming in on a Monday night game when they're 6-1. They're going to be the talk of the league. Obviously, on Monday night, they're going to be the talk of the league. That will be a performance where I will want to see how do they come out and play. If they come out with that same mentality and put their foot on the neck and do all the things I've been asking them to do for 5 years on this podcast and something like 45 years of my life, that's when we know. And then we'll still want them to win. There's tougher games. The Chargers game is going to be a good game. They've got division work to do. I watched Minnesota and Chicago today, and I text a friend of mine who's a Bears fan, and I said, this is 2 shitty teams playing really shitty football. They don't worry me. My mind says that's 4 wins. We've already handled Green Bay in Green Bay. My mind says that's 5 more wins. Just the division wins put us at 10. Like, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. We're gonna take it week by week. Baltimore, on to Baltimore. Go play well in Baltimore. It's gonna be different, right? They're facing probably the best quarterback since week 1. Baltimore has weapons. They can score with us. So they're gonna put it to the test. You got to get pressure. You need to move Lamar. Baltimore will be fun. But they didn't give up a touchdown today. You're going to win a lot of games when you don't give up a touchdown. That's kind of what today's game is about. I think we scored 20 points, but it was largely a defense win. I don't think Tampa was ever really in the game, even when it was 10-3. It was clear the Lions were the better team. Um, um, they made mistakes, but so did we. So let's talk players. I generally talk about guys who are a little surprising, right? But I cannot continue to not talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown. 12 catches, 124 yards, and a touchdown, and simply catching everything that comes at him, simply making every big play, 3rd down and 4, 3rd down and 8. Doesn't matter. He just catches the ball. He runs great routes. They're in sync. St. Brown will go to the Pro Bowl again. I still don't understand all this. We need another receiver talk because I like Josh Reynolds. I think Khalif Raymond makes plays when he needs to. And I'll do this thing one more time. I think I did it a couple weeks ago. In terms of targets, the reason we don't need to go trade for fill in the blank guy, Mike Evans gets talked about a lot, and different receivers, Cortland Sutton in Denver, Jerry Judy in Denver. Here's the reason why we don't need those guys. Right, our one is and will be for this year and in the future St. Brown. He's that good. You want your number 2 to be Sam Laporta, and I think right now he is. And in a perfect world, he stays that way. Forget about position. We're talking targets. So let's say we live in a world where Goff throws 40 passes in a game. You want, like today, 12 to 15 of those targets to go to St. Brown. You want 7, 8 of those to go to Laporta. You want 5 or 6 to go to your third option, which in a perfect world is Jamison Williams, right? Then a healthy Jameer Gibbs should get 5, 6, 7 passing targets. So what you're talking about in the guy you acquire in a trade is your fifth receiver. I'm not spending draft capital to go get anybody to be my fifth receiver. Why? Because I think Josh Reynolds is a fine fifth receiver. Now, there are those who believe if you go get Jerry Judy, he becomes your third. I disagree. You want Jerry Judy over Jameson Williams? You think Jerry Judy's better than Amon-Ra St. Brown? Can he bring to you what Laporta does? No, because Laporta does it from the tight end position. We see what Laporta is. So why are you going to give up capital and probably pay some guy more money? Stop playing fantasy football. Stop playing Madden, right? Our fifth receiver's name is Josh Reynolds. Maybe it's Khalif Raymond. I'm fine. Maybe one day it's Antoine Green. I'm not trading for a fifth receiver. Now, if somebody goes down, significant time down, we can have a different conversation. But these conversations about go get a receiver are absurd. Now, if you want to go get me another pass rusher, I never have enough pass rushers. Brian Burns is going to cost a lot. If they would take a one for Brian Burns, sure, I'd do that. Right? Max Crosby is a pipe dream. There's a lot of money and a lot to get him. And the only reason I'm even considering that is because Houston's down. James Houston's down. If James Houston was healthy, I wouldn't think about that. I think most games today notwithstanding, the last few games the Lions have gotten pressure on quarterbacks. Now they've got mobile guys coming up, but I don't know how Fields' thumb will be. You got 2 games against Justin Fields. I get the thinking. You got Lamar coming up. I get the thinking. They can get pass rush, often just rushing 4. Today was a little different, but I believe that was Tampa scheming. So in terms of who do we go get, which is a conversation I probably want to get into next week as we get closer to the trade deadline, do they go get someone? As we sit here now, if they were to get healthy, and we got to see how bad is Montgomery's ribs. If you tell me Montgomery's going to miss 6 weeks with his ribs or shoulder, whatever it is, the conversation becomes go get a running back. If you're telling me St. Brown came off a week off and caught 12 passes, I don't think we need a receiver. Now, if you're listening and you disagree, the comment section is open. The Twitter feed is open. Say whatever you want. I don't need to get a receiver. Exactly. Go Lions. I don't I don't think we need a receiver. Now, if you tell me secondary wise, I don't Gardner Johnson is out on Twitter talking about he's going to be back for the playoffs. And yeah, the playoffs are a given now. We are not saying if we make the playoffs. Playoffs are a given. Home game. Today, we're tied, right? For the best record in football. We're talking 1 seed. We're talking NFC championship game at Ford Field kind of shit. Now, that's where we are. But this whole idea of what do we do at the trade deadline? If you're serious about it, go make a move, go get someone. I'm not against that conceptually, but go get the right people. You can never have enough pass rushers. Sure, sure. If you can get a Burns, go get a Burns, right? If Patrick Surtain's actually available, I will make the call, see what Denver wants. I don't want Jerry Judy. I don't want Cortland Sutton. I'm not calling the Raiders about Devontae Adams. You cripple your cap and you don't need him. I don't think you need him. I think it's more disruptive than anything. And that Madden fantasy football mentality of this guy is really good, he's available, just go get him. That's not how this team was built. That's not how this team is run. They trust their draft. And when healthy, they have 4 guys they drafted this year contributing. Laporta might be leading all tight ends in catches or yards. He's top 3 probably in every significant tight end category. He's your number 2 weapon after St. Brown. Jamo's going to be 3. You see what Jamo's going to do. He does that once a game. He does his job. You can target Jamo 5 times. Give me 1 of those. Because the real value in Jamo is Wednesday in the meeting room. They're strategizing for Jamo. And the real thing is what matters is golf. I know you guys, 2 things I should never talk about. I have guys in Twitter. Stop talking about Sheila. Stop talking about golf. Well, you know what? Screw you. Jared Goff went 30 for 44 today, 354 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. but I'm not supposed to mention that our quarterback is playing his best football of his career and he's been to a Super Bowl. We're supposed to act like golf has nothing to do with this. Now you got the wrong podcast. You need to go listen to somebody else. Because I am a, and it's not even that big a deal. But golf's earned it. Whatever I say about golf, whatever we talk about golf, he's earned it. And if you are that dude who's like, well, it's not, we're winning in spite of golf instead of because of golf. All right, you're just a different kind of cat. I'm okay with it. But if you listen to this podcast and you get mad at me and hit us up on Twitter because you think I give golf too much credit, we ain't started yet, bro. You let us run through the schedule like Bear thinks we're gonna run through the schedule. Like Kenny and Bear, I mean, my brothers, the guys I love, they think we're gonna go like 15-2 or 14-3, right? I, I'm on the podcast. I can't say that yet. I can't say that yet. But every week, they're more right and I'm more wrong because I have them at 12-5. I don't see four more losses though. So as things happen, you change your mind. I can't find four more losses on this schedule. So yes, I'm probably going to mention golf and St. Brown every week. But here's a dude we don't mention enough. No, two dudes actually. Cam Sutton. I might have mentioned him before. Cam Sutton just Cam Sutton's just really good. And I know it's like, okay, corners don't get talked about when they play well. They don't even throw to Cam Sutton. They don't. Cam Sutton today got a ball thrown, tackled a guy, 1 yard gain, 1 yard loss, no gain, something like that. Cam Sutton just makes plays. I don't know. I think he might have gotten beat once in the Falcon game, maybe for a good. I'm struggling to remember the time when Cam Sutton got beat. And by all accounts, he's a good dude in the locker room, and that kind of stuff goes unnoticed. We got to talk about Cam Sutton more. And today, although I generally hate dudes with long hair hanging out of their helmets, Alex Anzalone balled today. Anzalone made tackles, he made plays. And when you just got a whole room full of these dudes that just make plays, so when your starting guard is out, you still get some guy whose name I can't pronounce. Came in, he didn't give up a sack. He wasn't getting manhandled. He wasn't. I don't even want to try and pronounce his name. The dude that played left guard for us today. That's that's a credit to Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. That's a credit to Sheila and the organization they built because they just have dudes drop in, right? St. Brown missed last week. They manhandled Carolina. Now you can do that, right? And you see the value of St. Brown this week. I don't know. Guys like Josh Reynolds, guys like Owasika, as I'm going to try his name. I probably messed it up. Apologies to the family. I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name. They just step up. Khalif Raymond just does his job. Craig Reynolds, really? I don't even care what he had. I didn't even look up his stats. He earned this check today with one block. He lifted a dude off his feet. That dude rolled into another dude. The result of that block was a touchdown. You need dudes making simple plays, doing their jobs. That's Dan Campbell. The talent level is Brad Holmes. The culture, the grind, the hard heart, every single play, playing hard. That's Dan Campbell. So this is a good organization that has got talented players who play hard every single down. So the one thing I would say is like Levante David's a beast. You want to make a trade? Get me Levante David. I don't know where he plays because Anzalone's playing well. We find a spot for him. Levante David was a pain in the ass today. That's a dude on the other team. In the old segment Mike used to have, here's a guy, right? The guys today were St. Brown, Anzalone, and probably golf. But I could probably say golf most weeks. And I mostly do it just to piss off those dudes who don't like golf. So, all right, let's do some tweets. All right. With the 49ers and Eagles losing, where do you put the Lions in the power ranking? So if you don't know, Cleveland got the 49ers. San Francisco missed a late field goal, and Jalen Hurts threw a late pick, and the Jets slipped by the Eagles. So now, in a very real and practical world, the Lions are tied for the best record in the league. So there's a handful of 5-1 teams. How do you do that? I don't know. I don't do the rankings. My guess is they're top five right now, probably hovering around five before this week. I think the people that do those still don't respect the Lions. They won't give them credit for a road win in Tampa. So I don't know that they'll drop San Francisco that far. I don't know that they'll drop the Eagles that far. My guess is there'll be some shuffling. and the Lions will be behind those two teams. My guess is they still like Miami and Kansas City. So probably 5, and it probably won't be a lot of movement. But I mean, I'm not a fan of the power rankings. I don't really care. You know, I've known for some time that the Lions are a good football team. I don't need somebody else to do a power ranking and compare the Lions to anybody else. I contend, as we sit here today, you put the Lions on any field anywhere against any team, and they got a shot, more than a shot. They're going to win. I mean, it's 32 teams in the league. Of the 31 other teams, any game, anywhere, anytime, Monday night, Thursday night, late Sunday, don't give a damn. They beat 30 of those teams. They've already beaten Kansas City. A healthy San Francisco is a good team. I mean, all due respect to my friend Chris Smith out in Philly, my friend Benoit, who's a Philly. I like our chances, guys. Let's do it. If that game's in Detroit, I really like our chances. And even if we have to travel to Philadelphia in January, running the football travels, stopping the run travels. I don't care anymore about home or road. When I look at the schedule now, I don't care where the game is because you know what? The Lions don't care where the game is. You get the same effort no matter what. They manhandled the Packers in Lambeau. That game wasn't close. The game today really wasn't close. The Lions sleepwalk or slept walk, whatever the past tense of sleepwalk is, through most of the first half, right? And exactly when Branch comes back, when Gibbs comes back, if we're gonna get healthier. Like we're gonna get healthier. And I don't even know if we've seen the best football. That Carolina game was some pretty good football, but they were missing St. Brown and Gibbs in that game, and Branch and CJ GJ. I think they were missing one of the linemen. I don't think we've seen their best football, and they're 5-1, and they're manhandling people on the road. I would love it if they could stay under the radar. The reality is, if they keep doing this, if they go to Baltimore and win next week, those 2 weeks with a 6-1 team coming back to play Vegas on Monday night at home. First of all, Ford Field will be a madhouse. That Monday night game against Vegas will be absurd. And me and Kenny and Bear might have to find a way to get there. I got to be honest. I think I'm gonna have to. We got to try and find a way to get there, bro. I don't know how we can't, but it'll be a tough ticket. There were again, let's go Lions chance today in Tampa. So right now, staying laser focused. Baltimore's the game. Baltimore's the game. Go win that game. Let them, and they will still stay under the radar. That morning show on the four letter tomorrow is going to be 75% Jets, right? Because the host is a Jets fan, and they're going to find a way to talk about the Dallas Cowboys because they always do. That's a Jets Dallas Cowboys morning show, and I'm cool with it. I don't even know how I feel about the Lions getting on the radar. People are going to have to talk about them. But even as a few days ago, a national guy, I think it might be on Fox or somewhere, was saying he didn't know if the Lions were real. He didn't trust Jared Goff. And I'm like, great, let's keep it that way. I don't give a damn about those people. Let's just keep go getting dubs, stacking them up. That's 4 in a row, double digits, manhandling people. You can say the teams aren't good. You can give me all the excuses. At the end of the day, 13-3 in a 16 game stretch, whether it's over 2 seasons or in 1 season, is a sample size you cannot debate. You cannot debate it. So I don't care about power rankings. Back to the question. They're 13-3 in their last 16 games. That's my power ranking. That's my power. And God forbid they get healthy. When Branch comes back, when Gibbs comes back, they're just going to be better. If they get Jonah back healthy, if Gibbs is okay, I mean Montgomery's okay, they're not even their best, right? I don't know. All right, give me another one. No pressure. Is this a concern? I assume this question is about pass pressure. And I hinted a little bit earlier, they only had 1 sack today. And I think there's a way, as an offense, you can say, we watch film on Detroit and they get pressure. We need to scheme around it. And I think Tampa did a good job. There's someone somewhere is going to make a case that Baker played poorly because he missed 2 or 3 shots. Okay. He had to move around a lot, and Baker's kind of mobile. The pass pressure impacted the game, but I also know that they had like less than 50 yards of rushing. Sometimes you win by pressuring and sacking the quarterback, like probably Atlanta. certainly Green Bay. Sometimes you shut down the run. Like, well, everybody. Nobody can run on the Lions. You win different ways. That's what good teams do. Find different ways to win. You get a 1 point win in Kansas City. You don't play well and go to overtime and take your loss, and then you manhandle four straight opponents. Teams that people thought were good. Tampa came in 3-1 at the top of their division. We're not going to sit there and act like Tampa sucks. I mean, and maybe, but I think it's more likely the Lions are pretty good. So, so Tampa consciously schemed around the pressure or called plays, quick hitters, and their offensive line kind of played well. So you can make a case that they didn't get a lot of pressure. I would respond with they won by 2 touchdowns. Baker was 19 of 37, little over 200 yards with no touchdowns and an interception. So do we care? And you might be SOL guy. I don't know. He didn't give me a name. The guy who after a fourth straight double digit win on the road writes on our Twitter page, they're not getting pressure. Are you concerned? I'm not concerned about anything. No, that's not true. Health, health. I hope Montgomery's not serious because if we get Montgomery and Gibbs together on the field for more than, I don't know, a quarter, no, probably 3 quarters, we've probably had all three of them, maybe a little more than a game. That's a different thing. And with JMO back, JMO and Gibbs on the field at the same time is a different thing. We haven't seen it yet, right? From a scheme standpoint, Ben Johnson gets to add a whole page to the book when Gibbs and JMO are both on the field. It's going, and you saw it today. And I was getting bored. And I was saying to myself, they're setting up something for JMO. These dive plays, and I'm like, offense, what? They're setting up something for JMO. And as soon as Goff let the ball go, I didn't need to tell myself who he was throwing to because he only throws that deep to JMO. Maybe Leaf, but I knew it. I was like, oh, that's JMO. And he had no impact on the first half of the game. I think he caught 2 or 3 passes total. But that one is more than just that touchdown. Goff grossly underthrew it, by the way. If he throws that out, he just runs right under it. But I have never come on this podcast and said Goff has a cannon, right? They got to work on that. He was open. He had a step and a half on his guy. He had to slow down, turn around. Good for him that he made the play because people are giving him a bad rap because of a drop or two here or there. And I don't even care about that. He changes the game. He changes what the defense can do. He changes their meeting on Wednesday afternoon. He changes what the safety can do. The safety can't just come down to change a Montgomery run from 8 yards to 4 yards. Because if he keeps sneaking down, eventually JMO's in the end zone dancing. That's what he gives us. And we really haven't had it all year. That's a new dimension. There's another dimension when he and Gibbs are both on the field. If JMO's occupying the safety and Laporta's got the best cover linebacker, who the hell's covering Jameer Gibbs out of the backfield? Right? They're not even playing at their best yet. They don't have all their weapons. So it is exciting. It is fun to have a legitimate good team that with each week, I say to myself, okay, okay, Bear, they might be 15-2. Okay, Kenny, they might be. I don't know. But I looked at the schedule late in the third quarter and I said, I don't I can't I can't find losses. And I know who I am, right? I know who I am. But these two guys are way more reasonable about this team than me. So if I got the two of them, and I got to call Art, and I don't know if you're listening, Art. I'll text you later. If Art was here, I know Art's reasonable. I'll ask Art, but Art might not be reasonable anymore. I need people who know me because I always admit I am not objective about this football team. So I need people to tell me. And you can go on Twitter later, or if you're listening now, I think this can be a 14-3 team. I think they've talked me into it. And even with that, guys, I don't know where the other two losses are. I feel like at some point we're going to play a bad game because bad games happen, blah, 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 off week. We're gone a month and this team doesn't have off weeks. I contend Seattle wasn't even an off week. It was just one side of the ball didn't play well. Because if you remember, I think they put up 31 points against Seattle, the overtime loss, right? They find different ways to beat you. They're not even their best yet, and they're just manhandling people. They're not squeaking out games the last month. They have played four different teams, two of which people thought Atlanta was good at the time, and at Tampa, and people believed Green Bay was a threat. They manhandled all four of these teams 4 straight weeks. They don't seem to be full of themselves. They don't seem to be eating the heaping plates of cornbread and Kool-Aid that I have readily available. They just show up for work every week and they punch you in the face over and over. I hate to use such a violent term, but that's what it is. It's hard playing the Lions, man. It looks really hard to play the Lions. So, yeah, I don't have any concerns. They will have weeks where they will get pressure. Oh, sorry. I hate the rabbit hole there. Art is listening, and Art just dropped the 13. I challenge you, Art. You're there. If you're still there, give me the other three losses because I'm going to rabbit hole the hell out of this. I'm at a point, bro. I don't see three more losses on this schedule. And if you dare say Dallas, we may not be friends anymore. So I'm challenging Art to find three more losses because he says they're 13-4. So I can't wait to see that. I'm gonna go on to the next Twitter feed. Then we're gonna go. Art's my good friend. He knows I'm joking. It's all good. But I'm gonna do one more of these, and then we're gonna come back to the three games Art thinks they're gonna lose. Okay. How do you think SOL guy is dealing with the Lions being 5-1? Um, uh, SOL guy will never change. And if you're new to the show, SOL is the dude who says same old Lions, and he loves to see them fail. I think he likes the team, but he revels in the whole I was right. So he always says they're gonna let you down. I've been watching the team for 40 years. The Lions are gonna screw you. They're gonna let you down. The Fords need to sell the team. Same old Lion. That guy. And I know people like that. The hardcores will never change. I got a cousin who says that a lot, but I think he's changing his mind. That guy is never going to change. He'll call the radio station tomorrow and say Tampa lost. Baker overthrew guys, which he did. Evans dropped a key pass. He'll say stuff like that because that's what he does. He'll say the Lions. He'll still say the Lions are going to go 9-8. They're 5-1. He'll predict they'll. That's who that guy is. He thrives on the negative. That's what he does. He's the guy who'll call the radio station tomorrow afternoon and sit on hold for 45 minutes so he can talk for three and tell the host how smart he is and then say some dumb shit that makes no sense, that defies logic and data and reasoning. That's why I hate that guy. Right? That's why every podcast I mention that guy. That is my enemy. And if somehow I can't imagine anybody listening for this long is that guy. If you are, well, no, I don't apologize. To hell with that. So, so they they right. So, oh God, that's such a good line. So the good line is they're very very thirsty, but they don't want to drink the Kool-Aid yet. That's awesome. That's a great line. I think that I don't even worry about those guys. You know who I'm worried about is the host of some of the guys on the radio station, and I listen to the station almost every day. And there's a show I like, and there's a show I don't like. And the guys on the show I don't like try, and I get what their job is, right? They want guys to call the radio station. They got to find a way to make you mad. They love it when shit's going wrong. They can talk about firing somebody. But one of them this week said the creamsicle jersey thing. He said he thought it was going to be a tough game because Tampa's wearing the creamsicle jerseys. He actually said, I'm going to try and quote him. They're not breaking out the creamsicle jerseys to lose. Well, yes, they are. Not just to lose, but to get manhandled because that's what happened. It doesn't matter what shirts. The Lions don't care what shirts they're wearing. They're better. They're 2 touchdowns better, and the Lions didn't even play their best game. The Lions didn't even play their best game. That's the thing that has me really excited. They're winning these games by double digits against teams. And honestly, all cornbread aside, I'm not sure the Lions have played yet. That Carolina game's pretty good. I don't know if they played a complete fours. Third quarter is a problem. Third quarter is still a thing. I can't really bitch about it. We won by 2 touchdowns on the road, but the third quarter, something happens, man. They showed a stat. They're scoring 40 something this year in the fourth, or in the first, 40 something in the second, 40 something in the fourth, and they've only scored like with today. I think they got 20 or 21 in the third. We got to come out more amped than this. Now, when you done beat the hell out of somebody for an entire first half, it might not be that easy to come out amped up, right? You might need to build your way into it. But if I got to make up shit like that to be worried about, we might have a really good football team. We might have a really good football team. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. I think it's the guys who've got to generate callers on the radio and find silly crap to talk about. And they will find the Brad Holmes draft picks that have not worked out yet. There are people saying Gibbs is a bust. How do you I talked about the 13 and 3 in their last 16 games being what's called a data set. It is enough information for you to form a reasonable and logical opinion. There's no world where any of us have enough data to say that Jameer Gibbs is a bust. That's absurd. That's the dumb shit on the radio to try and get people. And some idiot calls in and goes, "Yeah, that was a wasted pick. They could have drafted a cornerback there." Okay, they're fine at corner because Cam Sutton is one of the best corners in the league, and Jerry Jacobs is balling, and even Will, what's Will's last name? Will Harris. Will Harris is playing better, right? I'm not. I don't. If we're gonna go make a trade, fine. Trade for a corner, I'll buy it. You'll never have enough pass rushers. If Brian Burns is actually available, Carolina would actually part with Brian Burns. Yeah, make that phone call. Don't talk to me about trading for a receiver. Certainly not Jerry Judy or Cortland Sutton or some shit like that. I don't want to hear it. Not even Mike Evans. No, no. I'm always thinking about the cap. I'm thinking about this team being good for the next 5, 6, 7 years. So yeah, that's good on the Twitter. I don't care about SOL guy that much. He will find a way to diminish the 5-1 start, the 4 straight beatdowns that we watched. And like I said, the comments are open. A number of people are commenting. I always say, if I'm saying something that sounds stupid, I'm open because I trust the people who say it. These are my friends and my brothers, right? The people who write in and strangers. And there are guys on here. There's a guy on here who doesn't agree with me, but he's generally reasonable and I can respect that. Um, I was where Art was. I started off 12 and 5. I think I blew right past 13 and 4, and I'm at 14 and 3, and I blame that on my brothers. I blame that on Kenny and Bear. They convinced me. So I'm at but I'm not jumping ahead. It's just Baltimore. All we're talking about is Baltimore right now. Get the Baltimore win. Let's be assholes for 2 weeks. Come back Monday night. Find a way to sneak to the game or pay an outrageous amount of money for some secondhand tickets and get into that game and go crazy because that's going to be a showcase. If they win in Baltimore, that Monday against Vegas is going to be a showcase. So Baltimore is big, right? You go to the bye week 6-1, coming out for a Monday night game at home, crazy. Now, if you lose that game, their SOL guy and others will say only 5-2. I don't know if you're a fraud. And then Art will send me a note and say, "Told you, 13 and 4," which I'm fine with. If you'd have told me 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, what if they're 5-2 going into the bye? I would have said, "Sweet." Now I would have said, "Who'd they lose to? Where were the losses?" Right? Maybe. I think I would have been fine being 5-2 going into the bye. But make no mistake, I am I am at a point where I think they're going to win in Baltimore. I think it's a 14 win team. I look at the schedule and I just now that this right, there's got to be a letdown game sooner or later, right? Or what if there's not a letdown game and they lose one game, maybe two games because another team plays well? But what if they get healthy? What if they get healthy and it keeps playing the way he's playing? It the upside of this thing is crazy because I look at the schedule literally every day. It's written in my kitchen on a board. I look at it every day. And after each win, I write the score of that day's game. And then I start looking, where's the loss? Could be Baltimore. If Baltimore plays the game they played today, it's going to be a good game. If Baltimore plays the way they played last week, we're going to do what we do. We're becoming that team. And I titled this podcast, The Lions Are a Real Problem, meaning it's not a fluke. It's not luck. It's not they'll beat bad teams or they can win at home. They can beat anybody anywhere. And I know I'm not objective. I know who I am, but I have really smart people who care about my sanity, people who don't want me to lose my mind, telling me not only telling me that I might be right, they're telling me it might be better than I think. So this one was borderline bored, but I'll take this boredom every Sunday or Monday or Thursday or whatever. Um, it's a good game. It's a good win. Baltimore is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to next week. Uh, thank those of you who joined. Art, I didn't see the 3 losses, bro. So you're gonna have to text me or something so we can talk about this next week. But my friend Art said there's 3 more losses on the schedule. Oh, there he is. Chargers, Ravens. Okay, the Saints, possibly the second minute. So Minnesota's not that good. I don't accept that, Art. I don't. I do not. Oh, okay, okay, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, okay, okay. He's got a slight point. Okay. So Chargers and Ravens, I agree. Possible. I don't think the Saints are good enough offensively to stay with us. But his point is that we will be set for the playoffs when we play Minnesota the second time. So everybody might not play. We could be resting someone because our position will be set. That's a fair point. That's a fair, and I wouldn't give a damn, right? If we're locked in as the 2 seed, for example, or hell, if we're locked in at the 1, I'm not gonna be self-deprecating. If we're locked in, our seeding is locked in, and a win against Minnesota won't matter, I would be all for resting some guys. So okay, all right, that's fair. See, Art's a smart dude. I knew he was going to come up with something. He might not be wrong. I would not count that Minnesota game, but he might be more right than wrong. The Chargers game and the Ravens game are legit, and those are the two I think about. I don't agree with him on New Orleans, but the Minnesota game might not matter, and that could be the 4th loss. So they'll really be, sort of 13-3 going into the Minnesota game and not need it, not care. I was just very happy that Art didn't say Dallas. All right, so that's fair. I knew Art would come through. That's all I got, guys. Great game. I'm excited. Thank you for listening. Like I said, likes, retweets, whatever you do, however you're listening, to let me know or let anybody else know that you enjoy. It's cool. It's just me and anybody. You're welcome to join. I try and engage everybody. And if it's you're tired of me, type something cool in the comments, and as you'll see, I will talk about it. It doesn't have to be all me, because if they keep winning, I'm going to become difficult to deal with, and you might want to give me something else to talk about because I'm getting to the point where this might be too good for me. So I've been waiting for this for 54 years, or minimum 45 years, right? And this team is there's no more doubt. This team is real. Doesn't mean they're gonna win every game. They're gonna be hard to beat. They play hard. They're talented. They're deep. They're well coached. Um, they're smart. They have a really good all the things you would say. What makes a great team great? They check the box. They check the box. So appreciate you listening. We'll do it again next week after a win in Baltimore. Yep, I said it. Thanks for joining. Always shout out to super producer extraordinaire, Mr. Mike Ward. Y'all have a good week. We'll see you next week.